a lot of times you have to look at your environment and say, am I meant for more? You're going to know what your weaknesses are. You're going to know what your strengths are. Lean towards the strengths and let God handle the rest.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Paul Tully with the FYI Podcast. We got a really interesting guest in here today. We got Moises Santillan. Well, what's interesting is Moises is a scientist and he is an entrepreneur. So he has some awesome projects, some things that he's curating and inventing or has invented, and we're going to jump into all that. So let's get started. Moises, thanks for coming on the show, man.
Thanks for having me, bro.
Yeah, man.
Excited to be here.
Yeah, it's great. It's so funny when I hear the title like scientist. You know, I picture like this guy in a lab suit and gray hair and glasses to walk in the room. Do you get that often?
You know, I use the term scientist, but my actual working title in my career is a hydrogeologist. But I use the term scientist just because it's a bit more broader. Not a lot of people know about hydrogeology. So my science style is still data collection. But I'm not wearing a lab coat. I don't have the frizzy hair. I'm outside in the field working on water wells or conveyance projects, that sort of thing, focusing on water properties, water quality, making sure it's safe to drink, making sure that we have enough of it, not just now, but into the future. Wow. Those are the problems that I work on. But at its core, every scientist, you're searching for the truth and you're collecting data to inform your truth.
Yeah,
and so that's what I am in my core.
It's amazing, man. And I mean, recently, I mean, we've had so many. I mean, not just recently, but in the news, you know, so many problems in other states with water and quality of the water. And so you focus a lot on like microplastics and stuff like that inside our drinking water. Correct.
Yeah. So microplastics are an emerging problem. They're present not just in water, but it seems to be ubiquitous. They're in, obviously, plastic products. Wherever you would see any trash and pollution of that kind, that's where you'll find microplastics, and including our bodies, as recent science has shown. There's more and more proof of microplastic fragments, like physical fragments that, you know, they're small. A microplastic is a piece of plastic that is 5 millimeters in diameter in size or smaller. So they're small, but they're able to see, using microscope and technology, they're able to see these fragments within our bodies. That's the microplastic side. But as we know, microplastics are created from bigger pieces of plastic that degrade over time, right? Similarly, you can have microplastics that degrade into even smaller nanoplastics. Those are in our bloodstream. And those are producing their own effects, and it's just compounding. And it's been shown to be in everyone that's been tested, a large number of animals and humans.
Oh my goodness! Let me ask you this: how much is our government, local governments, federal governments, how much are they doing to help with this problem, and what can we do to focus, get more focus on these issues and do something about it?
Yeah, you know, at the local level, they're really going to respond to the state and then to the federal level. That's usually how environmental problems are tackled governmentally. The state government, for example, the state of California, actually produced a 30 to 40 page document called the Statewide Microplastic Strategy back in 2018. So they've been aware of the science and the potential problem. That document takes it's a big, broad view into the problem, and it focuses more on like the environmental side of the problem, not so much the public health. And of course, we want a clean environment, but I think the best way to impact the environment is through human activity, right? Yeah. It's our daily actions that can help the environment. And I think we're starting to see all of the hazards that it can have on human health, I think will be the true driver to like even further accelerating all the innovation that's coming about. So the state of California has a strategy. Similarly, other more environmentally conscious states like New Jersey and the East Coast, they're starting to come out with this stuff. a lot of European countries, including the European Union, have started to develop projects, strategies, even if it's just funding the research that's going on in universities all over the world. They're starting to address it. It's in social media. Folks that spend more time on social media, I think, tend to be more aware of the problem.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be surprised if this microplastics problem becomes the next lead.
Yeah.
Becomes the next PFAS and PFOA. Because, like I said, it's plastics everywhere.
Yeah.
And as long as it's been manufactured and used by humans, it's been entering our system.
Now, what communities are being affected the most? I'd imagine for us that are, you know, in a more lower income, you know, how are we being affected, so to speak?
Well, it's affecting everyone, but there does appear to be some disparity. A lot of the microplastics and nanoplastics are actually in clothing fibers. So in clothing that we wear, we put in the washer, dryer, and repeatedly use. And there seems to be higher concentrations of it in cheaper clothing. Yeah, so a lot of the microplastics have been shown to be in products that are created in the world of fast fashion, where you're chugging out product. You want to do it at a high profit. It's not the highest quality stuff. And in turn, that's given to the consumer at a reduced cost. And, you know, folks without the means, to your point, they're going to gravitate towards those fast fashion type of products. So
Wow.
There is a disparity. There isn't as much data to definitively say, hey, if you're from a lower socioeconomic background, you'll have higher concentrations, but that's the assumption.
Yeah. And lack of education, I'm assuming people who are more aware of this, I mean, people who don't get the right supply of education might not know, and they're, you know.
Yeah, exactly. They might not know. A lot of this is just awareness that needs to happen, first and foremost, right? But, I mean, you're right. If you have the means to, say, have a bunch of friends over for a nice dinner, and you might go all out if you have the means. You might get stainless steel plates and cups, or glass plates and cups, which, by the way, it's the best foodware type is glass. You might be able to have the means to get something a little bit more swanky. I don't know if I just went to a nice restaurant recently. I went to a steakhouse, and they had a nice glass pitcher in the center of the table where everybody was pouring water from, and everything in nicer areas tends to be made out of glass, stainless steel or porcelain, for example. But if you don't have the means, you're going to go and get styrofoam plates, styrofoam cups, plastic plates, plastic cups. It's just cheaper. It's economic. It's efficient.
Date night at my house. That's how it looks. 99-cent store plates and cups.
I get it. You know, the one thing about the plastic manufacturers is that plastic, although it's a bad product, it is a good product. There's a reason why it's ubiquitous and it's used in everything.
Right.
But just because it's a good product doesn't mean that it's just because it is a product that's had success doesn't mean it's a good product.
Yeah, and it seems like no matter what we seem to talk about in life, it seems like the things that come easily and inexpensively are always not good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That? It's almost like
my brain, when you were talking about plastic and glass, I'm like, I do literally eat off, I buy, because I live alone, you know, and I have I have plates and glasses, but I never use them. What I do is I have paper plates and plastic forks because I don't want to wash my dishes. So I eat and I throw it away. But hearing you talk, I'm like, dang, I'm definitely part of the problem for the economy if I'm doing that. I mean, for the environment if I'm doing that, and for myself. So what do I have to do? I have to start washing my plates. Everything that you have to put more work into is better for you. That's what I just took from this.
You know, I think that's just like a normal part of life, right? Yeah. Nothing should ever come easy. If it comes easy, there's probably a red flag. You know, like, for example, fitness training is hard. Yeah, training is hard. Yeah. There's a reason it's hard. It's good for you, right?
It's good for you.
If training was easy, not everybody.
Yeah, it's like, why can't I just sit on the couch and eat Cheetos and chill and like be like, you know, life is good. It's like, you got to work for it. This is a great segue into fitness because you're big into that too. So I think this is a good way to segue. But what I wanted to say is like, fitness is a perfect example for everything in life.
I agree.
It's like no matter what you do in life, it's like whether you want to be successful in your career, you want to get better at your craft, you want to be a better salesman, so you want to go to some seminars and learn from better salesmen. It's the same with it's like fitness. The more you put in, the more discipline, right? The more you control what you put in your body, the more you control how much exertion you do to your body, recovery you do to your body, is how you get the results. Yeah. It's like work. But that's a good thing, right? Like,
I love it. I love what you just said. You know, I was born in 94, but my sisters grew up in the 80s. And they tell me about how in the 80s, Nancy Reagan was this big say no to drugs thing.
Oh, yeah.
And marijuana was positioned as the gateway drug, right?
Right.
Fitness is the gateway drug towards greatness, in my opinion. Fitness is that as soon as you start getting into fitness, it'll start affecting other areas of your life positively. Yeah. And that'll lead to success in other areas. It starts with the body, but ultimately it ends with the mind.
I love that, man. Fitness is the gateway drug to success or greatness. You're right.
You know, everybody that engages in fitness, and everyone has a different fitness journey, right? Some folks struggle to even get to the gym in the first place. Some folks are gym rats, 6 days a week, 7 days a week in some instances. But I've never met anyone that started and then regretted starting, right?
Yeah. And
I think there's a reason for that. It's a great form of stress management. It's a great form of community. And ultimately, it helps you win your day, right? Yeah. It's like University of Oregon football has one of my favorite slogans. It's win the day. If you win the day and you do that every day, you're going to win in life. It's pretty simple, right? So fitness is an avenue for you to get there no matter where you are in your journey. I'm nowhere near where I want to be in my journey, but it's an ultimate sacrifice. It's an ultimate challenge, which is another part of fitness. Yeah. It's inherently challenging, and I think we need that as humans. I think we do better when we're challenged.
Yeah, absolutely. Having a goal. So I feel good that every day, even when I mess up the day before, I'm like, all right, today's a new day, and I'm going forward. And I feel this time there's no going back. So I'm just going to stay in today. Today I am not going to eat sugar. Today I am not going to mess up. And then if I just stay, you know.
do that every day. It becomes your new normal.
Yeah,
and right. Normality is excellence. You know, normality isn't boring. If you do excellent things, your normal is excellent. You have an excellent life.
I like that. Normality is excellent. Set the standard of excellence as normal.
As normal.
Yeah, that's good.
And even if you're improving just a little bit, it's still improvement day by day. Yeah. It'll just compound.
No, I like that, man. Let's talk about your the new project you're working on. You have tell me about it. It's an app. It's a fitness aggregate.
FitMarket is a marketing platform. All we're doing is essentially creating a fitness community. Right now, it's on social media. And what we're trying to do is highlight trainers, highlight great athletes, their fitness backgrounds, their stories, their tips for an audience that is either new to fitness or loves fitness. And the goal is to just bring people towards the fitness community. We were talking about how it's the best gateway drug to greatness. We want to help folks be the best version of themselves, and fitness is the ultimate tool to do that. Yeah. In the background, we're working on some products where we're going to have some apparel and some merch, of course. But the vision for FitMarket is to be the one-stop shop for all things fitness. So if you're someone that wants products such as supplements, apparel, training gear, you can get there. Or if you want to get connected to a good coach or a good trainer, we can get you there. Or if you want some content of your own, fitness content of your own, maybe for your social media pages, or just for you to have, you can also get there. It's going to be the one-stop shop for all things fitness.
So you actually will go out, like you have a production team. You guys will do. Oh, that's cool.
Correct. Yeah, we got some camera equipment, some mics.
Wow.
And we'll go travel to gyms all over Southern California and get some content, whether it's photos, videos. Most of the time we're capturing training footage,
Yeah.
things like that. But lately I've been getting more into interviewing, kind of like this, and just hearing people's approach to their training.
That's cool.
What made them get into it, why they do it, and ultimately it's interesting to see the similarities. I think everyone goes through similar struggles,
Yeah.
similar anxieties.
Yeah.
And it's great that fitness is an avenue to solve those problems.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's doing this podcast, I get to, like, I'm so fortunate and blessed, but I get to meet people from so many different aspects of life, you know, whether it's fitness, entertainment, entrepreneurship. And you couldn't be more correct how alike and everybody, how we all have, like, our individual journeys, but how alike most people's lives are. And that's what blows my mind in the world of how we're so divided and separated.
I know.
It's like mind-blowing.
The Bible says it, love thy neighbor. You know, it's very simple. And look, I'm just as guilty as everyone, you know. I get into my arguments from sports team beef to, you know, political ideologies and things like that. But ultimately, your disagreements should not cause you to disrespect anyone.
Right.
And you should be able to let bygones be bygones, because I'm sure there are astronauts in the space station right now looking down thinking, wow, we're so small.
Yeah.
So, like, you shouldn't let it affect you that bad.
Yeah, right, right.
And that's where the community comes in. That's where, you know, with Fit Market, we're really just building that community. We got each other's backs. We should have each other's backs. We should be making our lives better.
Yeah.
We're better together than we are apart. So,
I love that. I didn't think guys like me would ever be able to wear a uniform.
Thank you for your service.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for letting me serve. Yeah.
And I think it's really cool that, you know, maybe it was because you were working towards something that you were able to accomplish so much in such little time. And I think that's where the challenge part comes back. I really do think we're meant to be challenged, right? And I think a lot of the mental health issues that we have today is because sometimes life's gotten a little too comfortable. Not in all instances, right? There's some folks that are really going through some traumatic things, and I'm not downplaying that by any means, but a lot of times you have to look at your environment and say, am I meant for more?
Yeah.
And if you feel it within your mind and in your heart, you're probably meant for more, then you got to get up and do something about it.
Yeah, and I think also keep your eyes open for those angels in your life. You know, if it wasn't for Sergeant Folks, wasn't for Petty Officer Hernandez, and I don't really remember the gentleman's name at MEPS that gave me the opportunity to go in the United States Navy, wouldn't happen. But it all started with me walking into that recruiter's office, meaning again, for me, serving my country was huge, and it was a big honor, and walking into that office meant a big deal for me. But I had to do a lot of work to get in. It wasn't just walking in the office. You know, I wanted to join the Marine Corps, you know, and I went in there, and that was a no. And that's okay. That's what I'm saying. It's like your goal might be, you know, and then, okay, couldn't go there, went over to the Army, you know. I mean, last on my list was the United States Navy. I didn't even go in the Navy recruiter, to be honest. They called me, but it turned out being one of the most important, proud things that I've ever done was being in the Navy. So it's also being able to pivot in life, right? You set a goal, you want to be this business owner, this whatever, and sometimes that God has other plans. Yeah.
That's great. You know, a couple things. I think I think it was really cool. It's cool to hear that, you know, door after door was shut on you, but you didn't stop.
Exactly.
And that's very key.
Yeah.
A lot of folks, you know, are stuck in the moment. They let certain things that don't work out really affect them long term, and you have to have a short term memory with that. You know, everybody hears the term growth mindset, right? Is being in it for the journey of learning, not for the outcome. I think a big part of growth mindset is to have a short term memory when things don't go well. And that's one thing. The other thing that I wanted to mention is that a lot of folks, you know, have troubled pasts. They've been through some things. They've made mistakes. I've made mistakes. I know I have, but you have to know that no matter what you did, you're worthy already. At your baseline, at your default setting, you're worthy because you're a child of God. That's first and foremost.
Yeah.
And because you are, you have to really forgive yourself first. Forgive yourself and love yourself as you are, and then just go from there.
Yeah.
Build from there. Don't let your past weigh you down. The past is behind us for a reason.
Yeah.
We're meant to go forward no matter what.
I love that, man. I love that. Let's talk about where you're moving now. You got both these going on. Anything, what can you plug or what's the plan over the next year?
Yeah, the plan over the next year is to launch our products, and then build. I'm building the systems that I'm gonna need to scale this and just to grow. Right, that's a big part of it. Is putting the right teams together, putting the right tools together, to do things optimally, efficiently, and effectively, so that we can handle the growth that we're going to experience. That's going to be a lot of what I'll focus on in the next 12 months.
Nice.
Is obviously launching products, getting some revenue in, but building those systems so that when it's all systems go, and we're in the rocket and the rocket's starting to take off, I'm not gasping for air. I'm accustomed to the zero gravity.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, do you have financiers? How are you doing it financially? Are you doing it yourself? A little bit of everything?
Yeah, right now it's all my co-founders and I. And shout out to my co-founders, Dan Carrillo, Zach Brown, Steve Flores, Sean Strauss, Aiden Brooks. Right now it's amongst us, but in the future definitely we'll be going into getting some funders, getting some funding, and to seek some investments, and of course get that return on investments for all our investors.
Absolutely, get that ROI going. That's
right.
important.
That's right. And knowing that, we need to make money. That's a virtue of living. But my co-founders and I, we're all in it to solve the problem. To legitimately solve the problem.
Right. More importantly, I feel like you guys, that's good business practice, kind of like an artist. You're in it more to be of service than to get rich off it. But obviously, finances are still important to make the stuff happen.
Of course, right? You need the cash flow to run a business, and to grow a business. But we really just want to solve the microplastics problem. Make people more aware of it, and know that little decisions day by day is the way to make the most impact. Your little decisions will make the most impact.
Absolutely.
And then on the fitness side, understanding that fitness is that gateway drug. We really want folks to have a hub where they can go to and get hooked on the best drug there is.
I love that. And for people that are, do you make this affordable for people who are maybe in low income or people, a lot of our viewers, because the company who sponsors us is Affordable Living. They develop affordable living. So for people that are living in those circumstances, is there going to be access to these platforms that you have, or?
We want to eliminate barriers as much as possible, and even if even if there's not like direct products that are, say, the lowest in cost, what we will strive to do is to make sure you have some sort of assistance in one way or another, for you to get the solution to your problems. Right? So whether that's some offers that we may make that's specifically tiered for, say, lower income background folks, or getting sponsors to offset some of those costs, because again, you need that cash flow to run a business. But ultimately, if we can just get everybody's problems solved and fulfill our mission statements, that's what we're in it to do. That's what we're in it to do.
I love it. All right, Moises, when I end interviews, when I come to the end, what I like to do is ask guests to look into their camera and give a message to someone that's watching, that might see something that you're doing that resonates with them, and maybe some words of inspiration of how they could also get up and go pursue whatever it is they want to do.
Don't overthink it. Look at yourself in the mirror. Be very transparent with yourself. Be very honest with yourself. You're going to know what your weaknesses are. You're going to know what your strengths are. Lean towards the strengths and let God handle the rest.
Man, I love that. I love that, man. Thank you for coming on, man. I
appreciate you having me. This was a lot of fun.
This is fun, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to close this out for the audience here. Hey, everybody, I hope you enjoyed this this session with Moises, another interview with the FYI podcast. Couple gems I took out of it today. Well, there were so many. I felt like Moises had so many inspirational quotes for us. But he talked about what hit me most, right? God first. God has a plan, you know, to follow your dreams. No matter what obstacles come up, no matter what you've done in your past, right? Focus on today. Focus on what's coming. I mean, he blew my mind in the whole beginning of this. Most of the words he was mentioning, I don't understand. Very scientific and very intelligent guy over here. But no, seriously, talking about the microplastics and just the whole idea. When I first met Moises, we met at another event that was a friend of ours who's a doctor, you know, has like a recovery center for fitness. And we met there. Seeing him come in today and knowing the field he's in, I opened it with, like, when you think of a scientist or somebody who's into science, you know, you think like Albert Einstein, I don't know, you know, crazy hair. And seeing Moises come in, looking like an everyday, like one of us, you know, got the hat on, but very well-versed, very intelligent, and very caring about what's going on in the world, what's going on with the environment, and most importantly, like he said, the environment's important, but what's going on with the people. He definitely cares about that, and he's definitely putting the work in. Okay, he's not just talking about it. This is what he's devoted his life to. So that's what stood out to me. It's inspired me to learn a little more. Maybe I need to wash my dishes instead of using paper plates all the time and do my little part for the environment and the people around me and for myself. So thank you for tuning in. See you on the next one.
You should never stress about the problems you be facing. Everybody in the mud on the struggle trying to make it. Look into the mirror and you see the motivation. Then you step into the world and you find your inspiration. I'm finding inspiration, and once I get a hold of it, I'll never get complacent. Look into the mirror and you see the motivation. Then you step into the world and you find your inspiration.